Retroblasting is a YouTube channel for adult pop culture enthusiasts. Anyone under the age of 13 should only watch this channel with your parents. Retroblasting is not a children's channel. Ever since Retroblasting began, we've gotten countless requests to review Battlestar Galactica, and people wanted the royal treatment, part 1 about the series, part 2 about the toys. As you probably know by now, I don't embark down that journey until I know that I have all the toys and I've reviewed the series thoroughly, so that I can do everything at the same time. After we did Buck Rogers 2 years ago and gave it the full feature treatment, the cries for Battlestar Galactica became even louder and more numerous. But I always hesitated because the toys, frankly, bug me. Now, if you've watched our studio tour, you'll know that I have a number of the 3 3/4 inch action figures. I have a handful of Cylons, and I have Starbuck and Adama. But you might have noticed I have no vehicles in the line, and there's a reason that I don't have those vehicles. When Mattel was asked if they wanted to do Star Wars in 1977, they famously and embarrassingly turned it down. When Battlestar Galactica became an option the very next year, they jumped at the chance to make that toy line. But they futzed it up. Yes, they made figures that were the same scale as the Star Wars action figures, even though they didn't give them any faces. They look like potato monsters. But in a stupid decision, they did not make the vehicles compatible with the 3 3/4 inch figures. They made the Viper and the Cylon Raider, but they made them almost 50% smaller and gave them micro-sized figures to put in them so kids could play with the fighters that way. So every time I would get ready to pull the trigger on buying a Battlestar Galactica Viper from Mattel or a Cylon Raider, I would stop, get disinterested, and just not do it, because I didn't see the point. I've got an X-Wing from Star Wars that can fit that scale of action figure. I've even got a Buck Rogers Starfighter from Mego that can fit that scale of action figure. It was a massive, glaring omission on Mattel's part, and has been an omission for 42 years. And for the past 4 decades, Gen X kids who collected those lines have been without a Viper for their toy collection. Until now.
There are those who believe that life here began out there.
And here it is. And it showed up today, and I didn't expect it this early. I bought it from Robert. I did not get one for free or anything like that. I was just on the page. I saw the listing happen. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And he was like, yeah, you can just order one from me. And I was like, sold. And I bought one. He was printing up a whole batch of them, like a whole fleet. It shows up fully assembled, like you just put the wings on like you would for the Mattel version right out of the box. The decals are already on it. It even has a working missile launcher with a spring-loaded ejector and everything. I mean, but scaled up for the Mattel figures. I mean, that's the vintage Starbuck right there next to this thing. It is awesome. Like, I have not been this excited about a toy showing up since like the vintage Robotech SDF-1 playset showing up in the studio. This thing is incredible. And if you are a Gen X kid who loves Battlestar Galactica and you loved Buck Rogers and the original Star Wars toys, you've got to have this in your collection. You've got to have this. The fans are doing the best work, okay? Like, Robert never solicited me. Robert never asked me to do a video about this. Robert, as a matter of fact, didn't even know about Retroblasting when I reached out to him to buy one. And I don't remember how it came up, but because I didn't bring it up, but I think I said something like, I can't wait to do a video about this or something. And he was like, oh, what's your YouTube channel? And he went and checked out Retroblasting, and he's been really excited to watch those videos. But that was the coolest part about this, was Robert didn't reach out to me. I reached out to him. I bought one. Like I said, I'm just a toy collector like everybody else. I am the customer. I get no freebies or kickbacks, or when I do, it's very, very rare, and I don't seek them out. So I get this in the mail. Didn't expect it today. I had heard that it had a working missile launcher. I had heard that it comes, fully assembled and it's 3D printed and things like that. When I opened it up out of the box, I mean, this thing, it is solid, like super solid. Like, it is not a fragile piece of junk. Like, this thing it is unbelievably solid, and that noise you're hearing is just the canopy kind of moving on its hinges. See, like, I'm holding the canopy down. I couldn't believe how accurate it is to the original Mattel Viper. And he offers it in different colors of plastic. So you can get the engines in a more slate gray if you want. You can get the entire ship in a slate gray instead of a white. You can get ones with different decals that say like number 12. It is not just like this, but when he asked me which one I wanted, I said, well, I'd really like to have just a scaled up Mattel. Because for me, this is the ultimate lost opportunity. This is where Mattel messed up and messed up bad. And so I wanted a version of this that sort of shows Mattel's folly, sort of like is the thumb in the eye to Mattel, because I was like, no, I don't need it in, arguably more accurate colors. I love vintage toys. I love the way they looked, for the most part. I liked what they represented at the time. Nobody had a problem with the colors that Mattel chose for the Viper. We all had a problem with the size of the thing. Like it was literally like almost half this size, like 3/4 this size. It was ridiculous. And so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, a fan made this. A fan made this. Okay? He took the time to figure out the dimensions of the original toy. He mathematically scaled them up because he's fancy pants like that and has skills that I don't have. He understands plastics and 3D printing and all that fun stuff that is becoming the future of toy collecting. This is the future right here. This right here is the future. And he made it. He just and made it. And now we finally have, vintage toy redemption for the Battlestar Galactica line. Everybody now is like, is he going to do the Cylon Raider? Is he going to do it? And the problem, of course, there is that Mattel didn't give the Cylon figures posable legs. They're just a solid lower half. So people are starting to try and figure out what they need to do to get a Cylon figure that would work in a potential Raider this size. Mattel really messed up the whole concept of that line. But this was a major missing piece, and now it's back. Like I shouldn't say it's back. It's here, finally, for the first time. I know I've said this a lot, and I know you've probably started to feel like I'm a broken record at this point, but the fans are doing the best work. Whether it's film preservation or toy collecting and vintage toys and just toys in general, the fans are keeping all of this alive, all right? And I know that there are people out there who are going to throw out, toys are for kids. And it's like, okay, fine. If toys are for kids, then why are they all being marketed from Hasbro and Mattel at exclusive online retailer portals like HasLab and Matty Collector and stuff like that for high prices, and they're sold out, very quickly, and it's $20 or more an action figure. Those aren't kid prices, and the volumes are so low, and all of the lines are nostalgic. They've already talked about how kids aren't collecting toys anymore. They're playing with their mobile devices. They're playing video games. I get it, but yet I see both excuses coming at me at the same time. It's like, these are for kids, and it's like, no, they're not. And then they're like, these are for adult collectors and you're holding it to an unrealistic standard. And I'm like, you can't throw both of those excuses at me at the same time, guys. In this debate, you got to pick one or the other. Point I'm making is the fans, the adult fans, are who Hasbro and Mattel are marketing to. And yet, they're not giving us the volumes to meet demand. They're not giving us the products we want. And so the fans are actually making the products that we've always wanted. Over the last 42 years, especially within the last 15 years, since nostalgia for these properties has been immensely high, given the fact that toy companies make in low volumes now and exclusively market to adults through online portals for the most part, or they only send one box of Star Wars Retro Collection to Targets all around the world, right? We know that the volumes are low enough, but the demand is high enough that something like this, they could have done any time in the last 15 years. They could have said, you know what? We're going to go back and fix that mistake. Mattel could have done this, but they didn't. They haven't done anything like this. Heck, they gave away Masters of the Universe to Super 7. Now, of course, they want it back because Super 7 was doing good work with it. Now they're like, oh, we're going to try again because Kevin Smith's got this thing or whatever. My point is, the fans are out there doing the work for the toy collecting hobby. And they're doing some amazing stuff. And this is where my heart is at this point. It's not with Hasbro. It's not with Mattel. They've made it clear they don't even know what customer they care about. They've made it clear they don't know who they're marketing to at this point. They're mixed messages flying all over the place. These things are for kids. We market to adults. Kids don't buy toys anymore. Like, they don't have a straight answer, all right? So why people are still listening to them and using their excuses, I don't know. What I do know, this is the kind of stuff we want, and the only people who are giving it to us are people like us. That's the long and the short of it. And they're getting better and better at it every day. Every day. I've got a line on a fan toy maker right now, and I'm not going to give away what it is because I think this thing is going to be amazing, and it's supposed to be ready in about a month and a half, I think. I'm on like a wait list for it, and I want to reveal it on the channel just like this showing up. To me, it's one of those things I've been waiting for 30 plus years, 35 years, whatever it is. I've been waiting for this toy. It was like a big missing, AWOL toy back then. And a fan has taken it upon themselves to fix that, to right the wrong. Well, Robert has righted a massive wrong in toy history with this for a very popular franchise. Very popular franchise. And here it is. The sky is the limit at this point for what fans can do. Now, the toy companies can choose to get in on this if they want. They're not going to. Yeah, Mattel is doing the Origins collection of Masters of the Universe. We'll see if they put out enough toys to actually meet demand. We'll see if they can recapture both child's imaginations and adult pocketbooks alike. I doubt it. We'll see. The track record hasn't been so good. Hasbro is in the same boat. Hasbro's not making anything we really want. They're just kind of churning the same derivative stuff. Some of the stuff is nice, but again, will they make enough of it to meet demand? I doubt it. They're all about engineered scarcity at this point. Officially, they're called Hasbro Gaming. I don't even know what that means. They are confused as to what their identity is these days. Big toy industry is confused as to what it is and what it wants to be. But we as collectors who are still keeping the interest in toys alive, we in our 30s and 40s and possibly even our late 20s and older, 50s, 60s, we know what makes us open up our wallets. We know what we want. And the staggering part about it is that Hasbro has almost gotten there, but then they pull back. So like with the retro collection for Star Wars, they give us one dream unreleased figure in the Kenner style a year now, I guess, always with a board game. Like first it was Tarkin, now it's Snowspeeder Luke. That's nice, but it's not enough. Like we need a whole retro range. We need a Han Stormtrooper and a Slave Leia and all those characters that they could fill the range out with. That's what we need. That's what we want. That's what we want to pay for. And we need it in the volumes where it's not going to be eBay scalpers that are just buying them up and then selling it to us at triple price. You got to get behind your products and have confidence in them if you're going to sell them to the market. Robert, he's living the dream. He's doing exactly what these big toy companies should be doing. I have an order placed right now with Pro Customs for some unreleased, droids action figures that he's recreated. I cannot wait to see what those look like, and I'll review those here on the channel as well. But this is incredible. This right here, and it is the complete package. You put this rocket in the front. Ready? Fully functional. Fully functional. You want to see that again? Let me grab the rocket. Let's do this again. All right. I couldn't believe when I saw the demo of this. I was like, wait a minute. This thing even has the firing rocket? Are you kidding me? Like, I would have been content just to have an inert rocket or even no rocket in the front. But he actually has the rocket firing. Sorry, Kylie. So, all I'm saying is, toy companies need to be honest about who they're marketing to. They need to finally commit to who they're marketing to, who their customer base is. And if it's not kids because their production volumes are low, their price points are high, then fine, say, we're not really aiming for kids anymore. Well, if you're not, you need to be making the stuff that adult collectors want and stop saying that, well, we don't really know if that would sell very well because vehicles and playsets, They need to commit to those things, sell them in volumes that get the price down to a reasonable level where people can go and buy them. Adults go to retail, adults go on toy hunts, they go and buy this stuff. And stop tap dancing around all this crap. Stop tap dancing with, can't ever get the toy here, only one box shows up somewhere in Sheboygan, and then you're trying to get online to buy it from an eBay scalper, or you got to get on HasLab and kickstart something that a billion-dollar company doesn't really need financial help making. Come on. Otherwise, let the boutique toy companies take over, like Boss Fight Studios and guys like Robert. Just walk away from it all. Give up on the IPs and walk away. If you're making it for kids, then why are they so expensive? Well, it's because, adults, are the ones that are really buying this stuff. Then it's not really for kids, is it? Well, it really is for kids. Make up your mind. I've gotten to a point where, aside from a few legends, like Marvel Legends that I'm still going to get over the next 12 months, I might be out of modern at this point. Like, aside from Bespin Luke Black series and Storm from Marvel Legends, it might be quits for me. I think I'm going to go all in and continue to collect vintage, but I think I'm going to just declare my full support for fan-made stuff. I really do. It's the stuff I'm excited about. It's the stuff I can't wait to have arrive. As much as I want the new Bespin Luke Black series figure for the redone head, it's not going to be something that really excites me. Whereas on the other hand, the Pro Custom stuff that's showing up that I ordered, I cannot wait to see what that looks like. I cannot wait to see what these fans have achieved. And it was like that with this, and it's like that with the mystery item I don't want to tell you guys about that's hopefully showing up in April. Robert has hit a new benchmark for fan-made stuff. I mean, Robert's Viper, I should say. I hope he makes more stuff. Robert's Viper, unbelievably solid, professional level. Yes, I mean, is it 3D printed? Yes. Does that mean that it has slight striation patterning on it from the 3D printer? It absolutely does. But keep in mind, Robert is not somebody with industrial molding machines and presses and all that kind of stuff. He does not have the tooling that is at the fingertips of a Hasbro or a Mattel. So the fact that he's been able to do this to this level of quality without any of that kind of support, and he's not kickstarting it. He's not kickstarting it. He didn't kickstart this. All right? He's doing it the right way. I don't have the words. It's awesome. It's truly awesome. Functioning missile launcher? Functioning missile launcher. Toy industry can't beat that. Not for my wallet, they can't. Well, guys, I know I've rambled. I know some of you I've probably lost you, but I had to get this out because this was just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. And the fact that he sent along with it, he also prints, I bought this from him as well, the helmets for the figures. So you can paint this up so he has the right helmet to fly the ship with. Just unreal and so great. The maker movement and fans are the future of toy collecting, and you heard it here. I'll stand by my words on that. That's where it's headed, because these companies don't know what they want to be, and the decisions they're making with toys are killing the traditional industry. It's going to go back to basics, and it's going to be people like Robert that make this happen. So thanks for watching this, guys, and I will see you on the next video.